Hello, one and all, and welcome back to another edition of the Sure Bet 72 podcast. I'm joined this week, as always, by my good friend and co-host, Mr. Joe Walton, and also special guest Scott Potter. How are you both, lads?
Yeah, very well, mate. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Scott, you all right, mate?
Yeah, thank you. I like being referred to as special guest. I'll take that.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I hope you're all right.
We'll see if your tips match up to that hype, mate. Right, so we'll kick off then with some tips for this weekend. I'll start because I've been looking at the Championship, and the game I've looked at is Rotherham United against Reading. The odds are 11-10 for the home win, 5-2 for the draw, and 12-5 for a Reading away win. Both sides really struggling in the division, as probably most people would probably have expected in the early stages of this campaign. Rotherham's sort of home form is going to be the only thing I think that's going to keep them up. They're currently unbeaten in their last 8 home games, and they've actually lost only 2 of the last 20, so really difficult to break down when they're playing at home. However, they're not really getting the wins that they were at the start of the season, and that's dragged them into a little bit of danger, so they'll be looking over the shoulders at the relegation zone, I would have thought. They've drawn 9 of the last 12 overall, so that shows how difficult they are to beat, but at the same time, they're not actually getting the wins that they were at the first part of the season. Reading, on the other hand, have won 1 of their last 20 away games, and I only know that because the app that I used to check the stats only went up to the last 20 games, so chances are they've probably won 1 of the last 25 or something like that. They've actually got a wretched record in this fixture as well, Reading. They've won only 1 of the last 6 meetings between the two sides. And with both sides in danger of relegation this season, I think it's fair to say that Rotherham will be looking at this game as an absolute must-win. And these types of games are the games they're going to have to get 3 points from if they're going to have any realistic ambitions of staying up this season in the Championship. I've looked at the odds, and Rotherham or draw double champs is an absolute banker. That's at 3-10. I'd be sticking your mortgage on that if you were just looking to win any bet of any kind. But personally, for me, I think 3-10 is really short. And for me, so what I'm going to go with this is the Rotherham to win to 0, which is priced at 11-4. I don't know what you boys think about that.
I think it's a good bet, mate. Like I say, Rotherham are strong at home. Reading have been poor this season so far, and they've just lost Paul Clement. It's never really worked for him at Reading, has it? Lack of investment, lack of talent in the squad hasn't helped him. And for that reason, you've got to look at Rotherham. If you look at the last 6 games for both teams, 1 win each. Rotherham's had 4 draws and 1 league defeat. Reading's had 3 draws and 2 league defeats in the last 6. So no, I think that's looks a strong bet, and like I say, I'll be putting a couple of quid on that one. Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, I've seen Rotherham play a couple of times this season. Took points off some bigger sides where I would have assumed they would have just lost, to be honest. And the times I've watched Reading play, I honestly don't think anything of them. I think Rotherham, especially at home, like you say, that's where they need to get the points. This will be one that they've been focusing on in training for a while. Probably looked at this a while ago thinking this is where we need 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Millers definitely are due a clean sheet at home, I think. But at the same time, it's a perfect time to get one because Reading have actually failed to score in the last 3 away games, which for me points to Rotherham looking to shut up shop at the back and nick a goal and make sure they get those 3 points. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game. I don't think it's going to be easy on the eye, and it's certainly not going to be a classic. But for me, Rotherham just going to have a little bit too much for Reading. I think they shut up shop at the back, make sure they get a clean sheet. And for me, priced at 11-4, the Rotherham to win to 0 is definitely what I'll be going with this week.
Sounds good, mate. Sounds good.
Sound. So, Potter, I think you've been looking at League One, have you not?
Yep, I have some interesting games actually this week. The one I chose to look at is Charlton-Wimbledon. Charlton currently even money. You can get Wimbledon at 7-2, and the draw is 5-2. Charlton playing last night, actually Tuesday. It's a bit of a surprise. They beat Portsmouth away 2-1. A bit of an upset. I mean, Charlton are 5th, so it's not the biggest shock in the world, but it was a good result. Wimbledon 23rd, 15 points. really struggling. To be honest, I can only see one winner of this. The fact Charlton at evens is, I really don't understand it. Maybe it's that they played midweek. I don't know. I'd take that money all day. But I'm going to go I'm going to play it less safe. And what I'm going to go for is Charlton to win and both teams to score at 18-5. The reason I go for that is obviously Charlton have been winning games, but they have conceded in 4 of the last 5. And Wimbledon have actually scored in 4 games in the last 5, even though they've lost the majority of them. And I think, to be honest, Lee Bowie's done a good job at Charlton. I think they'll really push for promotion. Like I say, the easy bet would be to just back Charlton, but I'll go Charlton to win and both teams score at 18-5. What do you two think about that?
Yeah, I was just literally going to say the same point as you just made there about Lee Bowie. What a fantastic job. Since he came, I think he's gone under the radar. It's his first real management job. He's gone slightly under the radar. People look at your other ex-pros, your Lampard, your Gerrards, even your Joey Bartons down at Fleetwood, and talk about them. But I think he's gone under the radar, and he's took Charlton to 5th in the league, and really did one of the informed sides in League One at the minute. And I can definitely see him pushing for a playoff spot. I think Portsmouth might, I know they're beaten midweek, but I think they'll have too much in the tank and stroll away at the top. There's always Sunderland and Luton who are looking strong as well, but I think Charlton will be thereabouts for the playoffs at the end of the season. So I'm very surprised that the bookies making them even money to beat Wimbledon, who are massively struggling. So I think you've got a good little bet there, mate.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with both of you what you've just said there. To be honest, I think that Charlton are going to take a huge bit of confidence from going to Fratton Park last night and picking up those 3 points. The only reason I can think that the bookies do have it as even money is just for the fact, the exhaustion of playing top of the table away from home and getting 3 points. It's the old adage of after the Lord Mayor's show, isn't it? If they've gone into a massive game like that and got the 3 points, are they really going to be able to show them same levels of intensity at the weekend against a side that's really struggling down at the bottom? Even if they don't, though, in my opinion, I think that they'll have enough in the tank, hopefully, to win that game without really having to hit the heights that they hit in midweek. So yeah, I fully agree with you there on that, Scott. I think that Charlton are good value at evens at that.
Well, yeah, and I think the reason I've gone for both teams to score is A, because Wimbledon are still scoring goals and losing, but B, like you say, the midweeks took anything out of Charlton. They could be 3-0 up with 20 minutes left and just completely switch off.
Yeah.
And just let Wimbledon get a goal, essentially.
Yeah. Lovely. Joe, down into League 2, you've been looking at a game for us in there, mate.
Yeah, well, Scott said really, some real fascinating games over in League 2 this week, but the game I've gone for is Northampton versus Swindon, and the odds are even for a Northampton win, 23-10 for the draw, and a 13-5 for a Stevenage win. Which is incredible odds really to start with anyway, with Northampton sitting 14th in the league and Stevenage sitting 10th in the league, and Northampton obviously being favourites in this one. But since Keith Kills came in to Northampton, they've massively changed, and they've only lost 2 in the last 12. Before that, they'd lost 6 and 10 before Keith Kill came in, and only had 6 points on the board. Just have to wonder where they would be if he took over from the start of the season. He's one of their managers, Keith Gill, that I'm surprised that he's still down in League 2, because he took over at Carlisle in very similar circumstances and did an excellent job. Not only did he steer them out of trouble, but developed a squad down there and challenged for promotions. In the 3 seasons he was with Carlisle, he finished in the top 10 all 3 seasons. So I am a bit surprised that he's still down there in League 2, but I suppose that's Northampton's win there, I suppose, on that one. Stevenage conceding goals for fun in November. They conceded 17 goals in 6 games in a shaky run, watching them drop to 10th in the league. So it's a difficult month, and a difficult month to follow as well, with obviously Northampton, I think, are in good fashion at the minute. Then they've got a trip down to Mansfield, and they play Colchester in this month as well. So it's going to be a difficult month for Stevenage. And that that being said, I have gone for a tip for this week, but also a tip for the rest of the season. Really, I've got Northampton to make the playoffs. Actually, so I'm going to bring you boys in a second at 9-2. What do you reckon?
I'll let Scott go first on that one, I think.
Well, I think in a league like that, where we're not even at halfway, I'm just looking at the table now. They've got every chance. They're 8 points off 7th as it stands, and the way they're going, that can easily be turned around. I do think 92 is quite high, to be honest. The only thing I would say is they need to. I don't know if this reflects the fact that they started very poorly, but just looking, they need to score more goals if they're going to be up there at the end.
Yeah,
100%, and I completely agree on that one.
Yeah, I think there is always a side, no matter what division you play in. Obviously, as long as there is a playoff race, I don't think that there always is a team that will make a late charge for it. I think you look in the Championship this season. I think teams like Stoke City or Preston, who have sort of turned their seasons round after having really poor starts, will be having their eyes firmly set on a top 6 finish. And I think Northampton, like you've just mentioned there, Joe, I think they really do come under that same sort of bracket, to be honest. And yeah, the fact that their opponents this weekend have conceded 17 goals in 1 month, it suggests I can probably see where your nap of the week's going with this one.
Yeah, well, that quite nicely brings me on to it, actually.
Yeah.
So I've gone Northampton to win 2-0. I think Stevenage probably bereft of a bit of confidence at the minute, conceding goals, where Northampton, like I say, lost 2 in 12 under Keith Curley. It seems like everything's just getting better for them at the minute. So I've gone Northampton to win 2 at a price of 17-2 on that one.
Right, lovely. Anything you want to add on that, Scott?
Just interesting that 7 of the last 9 games, win, lose or draw, Northampton have scored exactly 2 goals.
That's one thing what brought me to that 2-0. To be honest, Scott, I think we're probably looking at off the same thing.
Yeah.
They're definitely looking at the same form guide, I think, these two. Hopefully they're not ganging up on me and making my tips look bad. But I don't think anyone needs to gang up on my tips after the nap I gave last week. But less said about that, the better.
Try not to mention that.
Exactly, yeah. We'll skirt over that one. Just for anybody who did listen last week, you'll know that Joe backed the Mansfield win 2-1, and that actually finished 2-0. So Joe wasn't too far off with that one. Myself, though, had a bit of a stinker and backed Forest to beat Preston 0, and they actually ended up losing the game 1-0. So into this week's naps, Joey's naps priced at 17-2, as he's just mentioned. Myself is the Rotherham to win 0 at 11-4, and Scott's nap is the 18-5. Stick a tenner on that as a treble, and it gives you odds of £1,630. So be a nice little earner just before Christmas, lads.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? I'll be having a bit anyway.
I think we all will, mate.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. We'll be back again next week, all being well. Remember, you can always visit egoinspiredsports.com to get all your sporting goods. The only thing left to say, boys, is hopefully you've enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, always, mate. As always enjoyed the show. And thank you, Scott, for coming, mate. Much appreciated.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, hopefully this comes in. I mean, might not be invited back if not, so...
Like I say, it can't be worse than any of our tips, mate. So I think you're pretty safe in that. Once again, thank you, boys, and thank you to everyone who listened. Drop a comment in the section below to tell us what your bets of the week is, and let us know your thoughts on this week's show. Thank you once again.